debunking videos. Do you remember when I used to make them, like, back in 2017, where I made 3 and then just decided to stop for some reason? It's not like they weren't pulling in decent views. Why did I stop? Anyway, today I'm bringing it back with not just 1, not just 2, but I don't actually know how many I'm doing, but today we're going to be reacting to the worst Harry Potter theories, like, the worst of them. Now, I'm not talking about the ones that make those top 10 lists. I'm talking about theories that are so bad, even the channels that made theories like Ron is Dumbledore popular are like, yeah, that might be a little far. So let's start with Newt Scamander, you know, the guy from, you know who Newt Scamander is. Yeah, there are some good theories about Newt, like the one I made about him giving Aragog to Hagrid, like, you're welcome for that, internet. But I think I've been one-upped here, because someone suggested, what if he taught Harry at Hogwarts? Which, just to start, you're probably wondering how that's even possible, since the books literally go through Harry's day-to-day life at school, meaning we know all of his teachers, and Newt isn't one of them. Like, I think it would be pretty weird if Harry had a class that was just never mentioned throughout the books, but don't worry, that's cleared up pretty quickly in this theory, like, in the first line where they say, this theory applies to the film universe, not the book universe. You know, this only applies to the films, which were an adaptation of the books, and don't actually add anything new to the lore of the books. I think this is their way of saying they've never read the books, and then when the book's information ruined their theory, they wanted to keep it alive by calling it film canon. And that thought is pretty much confirmed by the line, we never actually see any of Harry's subsequent Care of Magical Creatures lessons, you know, after the Buckbeak incident. Do blast-ended Scroots mean nothing to you? So yeah, Newt Scamander's name can be seen on the Marauders map in The Prisoner of Azkaban, and therefore he must be teaching Care of Magical Creatures, because why else would he be at Hogwarts? You guys want to know a secret? I'm not actually buying it, because film canon isn't a thing. Anyway, let's move on, because guys, what if Muggles don't exist? Yes, this is an actual real theory with 1,000 upvotes on Reddit, so, I mean, some people must be convinced. Let's see, it opens up by saying magic blood makes no sense, and to quote, because of Hermione. Muggle-born witches and wizards prove that everyone can do magic, like, that's how it works. Try and find evidence of a Muggle failing to do magic. Oh yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah, seriously, the existence of squibs disproves this theory without even trying. Like, I'm pretty sure that someone being born into a magical family and not being able to do magic proves that some people just don't have it. It's literally said in the Chamber of Secrets that Filch is taking a correspondence course in beginner's magic because he can't do magic. Like, don't you think if everyone was able to do magic, squibs wouldn't exist? But no, they actually go on to try and resolve this plot hole by using their main argument being that wizarding ability is like language. It's latent in the deep structures of the human brain, but has to be brought forth and shaped by human culture. Otherwise, it remains wild and feral. Humans raised by wizards in Britain turn out to be wizards, naturally, just like they turn out speaking English. Meaning squibs are simply wizards with the equivalent of language disabilities in the wizarding language part of their brain. But it still doesn't explain how there are so many things that non-magic people are known not to be able to see, like Dementors or Hogwarts, or go into any detail when it comes to families like the Evanses. Like, are you saying that both Lily's parents and Petunia, who is shown to be unable to do magic, all have this language disability? Because do you realize how many other people would come under this bracket? Like, pretty much everyone. Like, if you seriously don't believe all Muggle-born's parents haven't picked up their kid's wand and tried to do a spell with it, you're deluded. Grow up. This is the real world. But there's still not one mentioned example of a Muggle accidentally doing magic. Like, this is a bad theory. For a theory to be good, it has to work with and tie into what we already know rather than contradict it. And that's what brings me on to the next theory. This one doesn't contradict the original story at all, because what if Tom Riddle wasn't actually Voldemort? And then the theory also writes, highly plausible, in brackets. I guess that's like one of those YouTube videos aimed purely at children and you have to tell them what they have to feel during the video. Like, reacting to the worst Harry Potter theories. Wasting your time. Okay, so I do want to be fair here, and I don't want to completely disprove this theory before I start it, because Tom Riddle literally saying he changed his name to Voldemort is pretty damning evidence against it. Also, he literally put part of his soul in Tom Riddle's diary, like 1.6 thousand upvotes. How are they getting this? What if Voldemort wasn't Tom Riddle, but a combination of Tom Riddle and Salazar Slytherin? Salazar sought immortality. In fact, Salazar's last confirmed act alive was concealing a basilisk. Yes, that's something. I actually just googled it and there's fan art for basilisks as well, so I didn't know Salazar Slytherin had one of these. Also, when is it ever said that Salazar Slytherin sought immortality? Like, you haven't put a quote or anything to, like, say where you've got that information on. You've just kind of passed it off as a fact. We have no proof that he did. So the idea is that Salazar Slytherin also made a Horcrux and put his soul inside the Basilisk, or the Basilisk. And therefore, when Tom Riddle as a student enters the Chamber of Secrets, Salazar somehow transfers his soul from the Basilisk into Tom Riddle. And then they go on to use Harry as evidence that two souls can share a body. But I don't really know how you've got from A to B there. Like, it's not even A to B, it's like A to the square root of pi. They're not even slightly related. There's so much wrong with this, I don't even know where to start. Like, if Salazar Slytherin was controlling Tom Riddle and had already made a Horcrux before, why would he have to ask Slughorn how to make a Horcrux? Also, I don't want to go all Pottermore on you, I really do, but in J.K. Rowling's writings on the Chamber of Secrets, it specifically says that people entered the Chamber of Secrets in between Salazar and Tom Riddle, so he's playing a very patient game for someone you claim wants immortality. And I know this theory already has no legs left to stand on, but I've just seen the next two lines and it's already made me laugh. Google Tom Riddle. Okay, I can do that. Looks like me. Now Google a photo of Salazar Slytherin. Yeah, okay. That guy. Now tell me who Lord Voldemort really is. It's that one. That guy's Voldemort. The story actually delves into it with quite a lot of detail. But you know what the story doesn't delve into with quite a lot of detail? Hermione's relationship with her parents. So little, in fact, that I doubt you'd be surprised if I suggested the idea that Hermione was actually homeless. I mean, you might be, considering there's that scene of her in her house in Deathly Hallows Part 1, but that's film canon, guys. Oh, it does actually add something to the lore. Hermione's not homeless. So the theory states that from the Order of the Phoenix onwards, Hermione spends virtually all of her time out of school with Harry and Ron, either at Grimmauld Place or the Burrow. Meaning, the only logical conclusion could possibly be that instead of obliviating her parents before the events of the Deathly Hallows, she actually did it as soon as Voldemort returned and was homeless for her last 3 years at Hogwarts. It doesn't go into any detail about how she'd probably have got in trouble for obliviating her parents while she was still underage, because that's some pretty serious underage magic, and the Ministry takes that way too seriously considering there's like a mass murdering terrorist on the loose. Also, Reddit user FRE802 literally found instances of her referencing her parents multiple times from book 5 onwards, so I mean, thanks for doing my work for me. Order of the Phoenix, chapter 23. Well, to tell the truth, skiing's not really my thing, said Hermione. Half-Blood Prince, chapter 5. As Harry sat down, a furry ginger cat with Deathly Hallows, chapter 6. I've also modified my parents' so she really doesn't sound all that homeless to me. I'm not convinced. Before I get to the final theory, I want to give an honourable mention to the atrocity that is the snake that Harry freed from the zoo is actually Nagini. I have no idea where it came from, how it got popular, or why people in my How Voldemort Met Nagini comment section treat it like it's gospel, but Nagini's a viper. The snake from the zoo is a boa constrictor. Also, no way, I don't think I need to provide any more rebuttal than that. They're different types of snake. And if you're thinking, well, nothing can top that, you're probably right, but I'm gonna do my best. Because what if Snape was actually Harry's father? And I know you're thinking, that makes absolutely no sense. Harry is told he looks like his father 19 times throughout the series. Don't tell me there's no genetic relation there. Also, that would make no sense with Snape's character arc, which revolved around him loving a woman who didn't love him. And you'd be right, because this theory is outright wrong. Like, it's weirdly popular, probably because it's so bizarre, but there's no evidence for it. It's honestly more of a fan fiction. Like, the theory isn't even that Lily had an affair, it's that Snape used legitimacy, of all things, to trick her into believing he was James. You know, coincidentally, on the night they conceived Harry, like, what are the chances of that? And that they couldn't go into this plot point in the actual story because it's PG. I wish I was joking. How can it try and use that as evidence? How? You know what? Well done. You beat Ronbledore. At least Ron being Dumbledore has the fact that they both like Bertie Bott's every flavour bean. Like, it's not great, but it's something. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I know this video was different, but if you really enjoyed it and want me to make another video like this, well, make sure to leave a like. I'd like to see if you want to see more videos like this. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking here. You can watch another video by clicking here. You can check out my Patreon here and in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. I've kind of lost my voice a little today, so it's probably breaking all over the place during this video, and I just want to apologize for that right at the end of the video, because I forgot to record this earlier.